Peace to the family. Peace to my comrades. And this morning, it's not about the smoke, but it's about celebrating our young brother, Abdullah Mason. Finally, the way boxing imitates life. The very vibration that I've been speaking on the past few months, where all over the world, people from the black diaspora are standing up. And we have been wanting that same energy to peak into the sport of boxing. And for many years, it looked like that was over with. But we have a young champion, Abdullah Mason, who picked up the weight and the responsibility to put on a show after the failure of our young brother, Keyshawn Davis. Shout out to that young brother, Abdullah Mason. He put on a show, didn't he? Now, honestly, I cannot drag Keyshawn Davis any more than he has embarrassed himself. But let's learn a lesson from this situation. Over the last few months, we've been talking about this. The walls are closing in on all the fugazi activities that have been going on. And I want to pose a question. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. But it's easy to just say that I am my brother's keeper. What does that mean? What does that mean when someone calls me big bro? What does that mean when someone calls me unk? What does that mean when somebody says, hey, OG? That means that there's some type of wisdom that's supposed to come with me when mentoring our young brothers. So to the young brothers, to those of you who have sons, to those of you who mentor, who coach, who train our youth, this is the lesson we should learn from this. Number one, you do not need to be a yes man to these young brothers. And if you have brothers, do not be yes men to them, because this situation didn't start last night. This is a cabal of things and events that have taken place over the last few years, where people have surrounded themselves with yes men. You see, when I was growing up, you always had someone that would balance you out. You always had an unk that would check you. A male figure, whether it was in the church or the street. Hear me now. We had wisdom in the church and the street. Brothers that will correct you, gangsters that will correct you and say, hey, I know your mama. Get your little ass in school. Get off these streets, because you not going to be like us. You are the next generation. And you might say, hey, coach, what does this have to have? What does this have to do? What does this have to do with boxing? Well, let's get down to it. Keyshawn Davis, number one, comes in 4 pounds over. And everyone around him that should have said, hey, young brother, you need to, like I said in my last video, get your shit together. Get your priority together, because, brother, you just dropped the bag. And when I seen him come out with his brother, with his younger brother, and they were, throwing up their little sign, and he's laughing, and I said to myself in my mind, I said, oh, man, he don't even have any shame. And the reason he doesn't have any shame is because there was no one around him to have enough influence on that young brother to say, you need to get your shit together and sit this out. You don't even need to be seen right now. If anything, you need to go sit your ass down and support your brother in that way. Don't nobody else need to see you coming out, throwing up no sign. Then to make matters worse, before we even get to that point, some might say, hey, coach, that's his brother. Listen to me, people. When you have the weight and you get the spotlight and you drop that bag in front of the world, people, as a young black man with the world looking at you, you don't just represent yourself, you represent your family, and you represent our people. You represent the people that came before you when you are in that spot. You need to understand your place here. Think about that. Think about all the women champions we have all over that represent us on the world stage and how they are critiqued. Look at Clarissa Shields and the way she represents us. Look at all of our athletes, whether they play tennis, whether they play basketball, whether they're boxers, whether they're sprinters. If they do mess up, what do we tell those sisters? You need to get your shit together. If they mess up and pop hot for marijuana, y'all know where I'm going. We dragged that sister, didn't we? But when she got her stuff together, she got it together. Now look at her, right? But let's stick to boxing. So when you don't have that circle of wisdom around you, see, people can talk to you, but if they don't have any real influence on your life at that point, things get worse. And let me show you that Coach knows what he's talking about. After that, to make matters worse, not only was the bag dropped, not only did the young brother miss weight, but then after that, these brothers went into the dressing room of another fighter and tried to put hands on him. You think that this is not going to come with a price to be paid? With a card that was predominantly brothers? Question: how many events have you been at where your brothers, who are very familiar with the boxing game, have been beat by Mexicans and you run up on them? Come on, y'all. Come on. I know y'all don't like it. I know y'all don't like when Coach call it out. We have to check ourselves. Because regardless of you feeling the way, that's still another brother. And it wasn't even about you being that upset about your brother losing. You were really upset for your failure. And that is why you should have went and sat your ass down somewhere. If one of my fighters did what Keyshawn Davis did, brother, you ain't even coming out to the ring. You're going to sit back here with us. Because we already know your mind is not in the right place. So now, you think that he's going to get the same business leverage? You cannot call yourself a businessman and move like that. Businessmen don't move like that, people. So it's important to give wisdom to our young brothers when they need it. Bud Crawford is a great champion, and they call him Big Bro. But Bud Crawford said in the interview, hey, he said, hey, we don't know what happened. His body just might not be fitted for that weight division anymore, right? And we don't know what Bud said to him personally. And you all know that I do believe in pulling your brothers to the side. But I also believe that if enough men came to his aid, to Keyshawn Davis' aid, enough wisdom could have been put into that brother that would have made that night go completely different. But what did you see in the clip when the fight broke out? You seen women. You seen women yelling, Keyshawn, Keyshawn. And that speaks to the very character that we've been talking about the character flaws that we have been lacking as men, from the fan base to the fighters in the sport of boxing, people. When have you ever seen the Haneys, the Masons, the Normans, run down after a loss when they maybe had every right, after having glass thrown at them, after being called the N-word. That's why it was so beautiful. If you watch the interview of Brian Norman Jr. when he said, man, when we went to the West Coast, they was calling us monkeys. They was calling us niggas. They was calling us all this. And that is why I beat that man the way I beat that man. And then did the jail pose when I knocked him down. That's the type of talk that I like to hear. That's the kind of champion. Call it out like it is. See, these brothers from down south, y'all don't get to hear them that much. But see, these the brothers I grew up around after leaving Chicago. These brothers don't play with that monkey and N-word stuff. See? But see, I said to everyone, we have to surround our brothers and call them out with love and then pick them up after we say, hey, that ain't how you move, young brother. Get your shit together. But see, you all did not want to nip this in the bud. When this whole thing with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia happened, you start seeing when it was time for this media lynching of Devin the Dream Haney. I know y'all don't like this truth, but am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. When it was the media lynching of Devin the Dream Haney, you start seeing all these interviews of his supposed to be brothers in his division. Even though we are competitors, we are brothers that grew up together. And regardless if we grew up together, we are brothers. Shakur and Keyshawn. These young brothers start doing interviews where these racist talking heads, these self-hating talking heads in boxing media were emboldened to keep dragging a brother like Devin the Dream Haney. But here we are now. Now watch and see if all those people who were on you all's side then, where they're at now. None of them are coming to their side. This is what we have to learn as a people. This is what you young brothers need to learn. We are all that we have. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. We are all that we have. We are all that we got. There will always be an audience for you when it's time for you to drag the brother that is the most threatening brother to a institution. There will always be an audience when you jump in the ring and say, I think Lomachenko won. There will always be an audience and a race fan base when you get on there and flirt with Ryan Garcia after he disrespected your whole race. All of these character flaws should have been nipped in the bud then. Then was the time where these great legends and these people you call big bros should have given you all wisdom. But when you surround yourself with yes men and women, and you start to think that your shit don't stink, what a disgraceful, embarrassing night. But shout out to that young brother Abdullah Mason. Shout out to the young brother's father who has put on a display of how you lead your sons. What is meant for you, what God has for you is meant for you, people. We are all we got. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. When Abdullah Mason was on the stage and y'all said, oh man, it looked like Abdullah was shook. It's because y'all not used to a young brother like that. I do the talking with my hands. I walk it like I talk it. And he did that last night. Shout out to that young brother Abdullah Mason. And we are all looking forward to seeing what you have, brother. To seeing what's next for you. A champion that we can champion as a people. And I'm letting you know, when you self-hating COINTELPRO boxing fans come forward, the truth tellers in the sport of boxing, including myself, We will be present to disabuse you of your lies, because I am my brother's keeper. Wherever you are, when you come into our spaces with that crap, you will be drugged, because you have no smoke for your idols and you idol worshipers. You have no smoke for the things that are wrong. You don't even want to call out that disgraceful display by that family last night. So this is what I want to say with love. First of all, again, shout out to that brother Abdullah Mason. But not only that, to the young brother Keyshawn Davis and their family, to the brother Shakur Stevenson, to all you brothers, Richard Hitchison. Sorry if I messed up his name, but you all know who I'm speaking about. You young brothers who have been dragging Devin Haney for whatever reason, understand that the people who were praising you for doing that, they have disappeared. They were never here for you for real. But you see me, you see these other truth tellers who want to see you brothers win, we still here. We're disappointed in you, but we're still here. And all you got to do is get your shit together. But if you keep on down this road, if can't nobody tell you nothing, you stay on this unity campaign that you all are on, we will not be present. When AI comes out for you and Vic comes out for you, these are brothers coming out to support you all. So when we are on the world stage, you have to show out, because you're representing your family and the people that came before you. To my family, it is Sunday, the Lord's Day to be exact. And on this day, I hope you get your lives right with God. I hope you get your lives right and your hearts right for the sport of boxing. If you call yourself a fan, support the truth and those who come to work hard, those who come and they show a good representation of us, a good representation on the foundation that we stand on. And remember, if you call yourself a unc, a big bro, a father, a coach, a trainer, give wisdom to these brothers, because they represent us. God bless you. God bless your families. Peace.